Hello, everybody. How's it going out there? Welcome to the podcast. What are they talking about? My name is David Knight. With me is my co-host Jason Renfro. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. And you?
I'm hanging in there. For some reason, I could not sleep today. I got off work and I went to lay down, and it just wasn't happening. I don't know why.
I know. I hate when they have. I didn't sleep at all Monday, and then it's yesterday. I pretty much slept all day, like 11 hours.
Yeah, and that was weird for me because yesterday, I mean, I had no problem sleeping. I woke up. I tried to wake up a couple times to do a couple things, but it just didn't happen. Um, so I just kept fell back asleep. So I guess I needed it.
Yeah.
I guess I needed it. I just know I got. We're doing. Of course, we're recording this right now, and I have an audition tomorrow night that I have to do some prep work for. So
Yes.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. Got to get to Charlotte and back to that one. That'll be interesting. Um, but anyway,
Love
so
that Charlotte traffic.
oh God, yeah. I mean, of course, I don't have a car, unfortunately, so I gotta get rides up there. But um, it's also one of those deals where it's like, well, I mean, I got it. I'll get up there, be there for me 30 minutes, an hour, then I gotta head right back. So then I gotta work tomorrow night too. So
Mhm.
all right. So anything new with you, Jason? Anything going on?
No, just sleep, work, and more sleep.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get it there. It just seems like the simplest things to to do are, I mean, the simplest things to get through are hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, and that's kind of one of the things that we want to talk about in this podcast for you listeners out there. If you're new to the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe. Again, YouTube still not let me put the link to Podbean in the comments section. Hopefully, they'll let me do that today. I think they should know we're real people by now. But that's not happening. If you're listening on Podbean, there is a video link to YouTube on the Podbean page. So make sure you check that out as well.
Are we
Um,
real people?
I think we are. I mean, unless we're in the Matrix. I mean, you know, though, wasn't though I wonder it'd be easier if we were in the Matrix. I feel very
Well,
similar to
this is the Matrix. I need to go back to character development.
that. I kind of feel like Cipher from the movie where he's in the Matrix and then they free his mind and then he's like, God, ignorance is bliss. He was wanting to go there back there so badly he would kill the entire human race just to go back. You know, and sometimes you just wonders like, God, I mean, is this all this is, right? You get up, you go to work, you come home, you might have family, you might have kids, you might get to have fun here and there, but it just gets so monotonous at times.
Yeah. You might just paint little D&D figures all night.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, for some people, yeah, and it's like you do all this just to try to enjoy life, and most of us are barely surviving right now. So it's a very stressful time for a lot of people, and it's been going on for a very long time now. Some people have been doing it their entire life, um,
Hmm.
and it's hard. And I know I'm going through it myself right now. Like I work a job, yeah, but I'm going through struggles just to make ends meet and to get caught up on stuff. And it's a constant week by week thing for me. I Some weeks, with certain things, I mean, I'm not sure how I'm going to get to places sometimes, or how I'm going to get through the week. It's rough, um, but I mean, it's sometimes it gets hard to stay positive. I mean, I know you've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always sudden expenses. Um, I've had to replace. See, when we had that big freeze, I had a pipe break, flood the entire house.
Mm.
The hot water heater's gone out. So, and there was a shortage in the wiring for the hot water heater,
Mm.
which caused my light bill to more than triple.
That's insane, man. That's crazy.
Sometimes I think it'd be better, to rent than own.
Well, I don't know. Your house is paid for, so you have no mortgage.
Yeah.
And your house is a very interesting story. Maybe you can discuss in a few minutes. I think it's a very cool story about how to get a house. But I know I know I rent from month to month, and I got a little 2 bedroom apartment. It's decent. It works for me, and my daughter's here from time to time. But it's like, it's even this place. The rent is a lot more than it was. I mean, ever since COVID, post COVID, everything just gotten so expensive. The price of rents went up, housing market's gone up, groceries, everything just gone up as a whole since then. And of course, we know once shit goes up, it's not going to go back down, right? You know
No,
that
no.
that never happens. So, so yeah, I mean, well, I guess that's one thing to be thankful for is your house is paid for what it is. You know,
Yes. So,
so
it turns 100 years old next year.
yeah, that's amazing. My ex wife and I rented a house, an old mill house in Kannapolis, and they had a bunch of them up there because the mill that was there, I think it shut down like 30 years ago or something like that, maybe longer. But we lived in the supervisor's house, so it had a third bedroom. It only had one bathroom, but you could tell they redid the floors. It had old time fireplace that didn't work, and it was kind of a wide layout and like no storage space. I don't know what it is about those mill houses. They did not believe in storage space. It just the only thing that saved us was we had like this little shed in the backyard. That was the only thing that saved us for storage. We would have had nothing otherwise.
Well, they didn't have all this fancy stuff to keep around. It was like you
Right.
have clothes, you have cookware.
Exactly, and about the kitchen it had these little bitty cabinets in which obviously it was not designed for modern cookware. Everything smaller portions. People didn't have as much, so it was like more of an old school cabinet for storage and little bitty pots and pans that you could put in. For anything big, you had to kind of squeeze in an angle to try to get in there. Had to go in a certain way, otherwise the stuff wouldn't fit in there right. It was like a puzzle, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, but despite that being an old house, it was a pretty decent little house. We just had little issues with it here and there. But again, we were just renting. The rent wasn't bad on it. Now that same place, when we moved out and bought our old house, they were doing this rebuild Kannapolis thing, and they were doing all this stuff to downtown and building a new ballpark there. And it went from like $800 a month to like 1,400. So I
Yeah.
think they were just waiting for us to get out of there. They were waiting to jack that up as soon as they could.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it works. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
things as things get more expensive. Everything gets more expensive. I mean,
Yep.
like with like all the stuff that I have to fix around here. When you rent a property, you're as the landlord, you're required to fix all those things. So as it
Mm-hmm.
gets more expensive to fix things, you have to charge more rent. Because if you
Yep.
don't charge more rent, then all of a sudden, when one of those things breaks, all you just wiped out rent for a whole year.
Yeah, it's like an insurance claim, right? You use your insurance. Oops, we got to jack it up on you. Sorry, because you actually used it. But they're
Yeah.
different. But they're different because they make billions of dollars, and there's no reason they get pull that shit on you. But you know, it's kind of the same principle. And um, that's again, it's what before you used to be able to rent for cheaper than you can buy. Now
Yes.
renting's more expensive than buying for the most part. And per if you go look at a per month basis, you're better off buying, but the internet camel for all the shit that goes with it. So you got
Yeah.
anything that breaks, the yard maintenance, that's all you because it's
Well,
yours.
I have a little mobile home I rent, and they charge renters insurance because I mean, like for me to rent it out, I have to let them know that it's a rental property because then they want to charge you more insurance because it's a rental property.
Right. Yeah.
And then
And,
there's property taxes. And I think the people of New York City are about to find out that when you raise property taxes, you raise rent.
yes, yes, and I mean, I know people like as Uber driver for as long as I did. I had like 9,000 Uber rides. I got a lot of people who are down here from New York and California and Pennsylvania, whatever, and they told me they moved down here because they knew they would never be able to buy a house in New York. Never, they would never be able
Hmm.
to afford to buy a house in New York. So they came here hoping for an opportunity to actually buy something of their own. You know,
Yes.
so, and renting, another thing about renting, real quick, renting. Some of these places are are shitty
Yes.
because, like the place my mom stays at, she lives in a trailer park in a little town called King, and they've been there so long now that they're implementing this thing of like it's almost like rent to own kind of bullshit, but it's not. And so if something breaks or something, they have to fix it now,
Mm.
which doesn't sound legal, but there's I guess they found some kind of loophole. And renting's not what it used to be. The idea of, like you said, of renting something, they pay for it. Some places still do that, but if it's like a private house or a lot or something, that may not happen.
Yeah.
Um, the last place my ex-wife and I rented, they wanted to charge us for having someone come down and fix the AC. And we said, why? It's not working. It's frozen up. It's out of Freon. Why are we getting charged for this? And we had to push back against it. And we had to push back for them to fix a water heater. Is that they don't want to replace anything.
No.
So what's the point of renting then, right? So you, I guess, a push to buy a house, but you got to have save what was it? Oh, I know you've seen It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Yeah.
Well, that scene in which the main character, he's going out talking about people want $5,000 to buy a stable house. Who can get $5,000? And this is like what 1930s, 1940s.
Yes.
We're in 2026. The same thing still applies,
Yes.
and money just does not go that far anymore. Obviously, got
No.
$5,000
No.
back then.
$5,000 wouldn't even be a down payment on a house.
No, and it's so funny. $5,000 back then's like 50 grand or something, right? I mean, that's a huge sum for them back then, but $5,000 now for a lot of people, and there's people that are working like they have good jobs. They have what you would think would be a good job, making 50, 60, 70,000 a year. I thought, hell, in college, if I made that, I'd be in good shape, right?
Yes.
You make that now, you're barely getting by. Especially if you got a spouse and kids. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, I'm not going to get into politics. No, I'm going to stay out of that.
Well, and honestly, if we're going to get into politics, I think both. It's the whole system in general. It's the whole political system, and we can blame one party or the other, and we do blame the other party all the time. But the
Yeah.
fact that go ahead.
I wasn't going to go with political parties. I was going because they both support the same economic model.
Mm-hmm.
The was it Keynesian economics, and they basically, and it's the best way to generate wealth because it basically says that inflation is a little bit of inflation is the best way to increase wealth, and it is.
Well,
But if you don't have anything,
total wealth.
it just makes stuff worse for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's total wealth, and it inflates the number, but the value of that number doesn't go as far as it once did. When they tell you, well, they spent $1 million in 1920, that's like 25, that's like $50 million a day. That
Yeah.
tells you money is worth less than it used to be because it
Well,
takes more
that's what I'm
money.
saying.
Yeah.
What it does is the model they're using increases inflation, which increases the value of assets, which
Hmm.
increases wealth. But if you don't own anything of value,
Yeah.
it makes your life harder because it decreases the value of money.
Hmm.
So if you rely people like Musk and Bill Gates and them, if you look at COVID when you had that huge explosion in inflation,
Hmm.
their wealth grew at
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. And that's
because they don't have money. They have assets.
right, right. And that's another thing you want to talk about. If you look at post COVID, when all these shutdowns were put into place, and again, this is I'm not trying to tread up old wounds for people here, but the modern climate is impacted by COVID. We're still impacted by COVID today. Um,
Yes.
and the fact of the matter is, a lot of these small businesses, with all the restrictions put in place for health and safety and to contain the spread and all that, they couldn't survive being closed down. They couldn't survive doing all the regulations that are required. Prime example of this, a lot of small mom and pop places, smaller little convenience stores, they closed their bathrooms down. They did not have bathrooms because there were certain requirements by the state. In order to have a bathroom, they had to keep it so clean and do a certain procedure every hour. And they didn't have the staffing to do that. So
No.
they had to either they had to say no bathroom and shut them down. They had to do that because there was no other option for them. They could get closed down or get in trouble for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one small thing. A lot of places they went out of business and they were going to come back to one place that they were kind of doing okay or barely holding up. They were gone.
Yes.
And yes, they had that the business payment loan thing that they did, which I worked at Wells Fargo at the time. Actually helped with some of the applications on that. We actually had reviewed and processed monies to give to small businesses. The problem is there was a lot of fraud in that too because it was thrown out so fast. You had like churches like Joe Osteen and or big nonprofits or these big businesses requesting these smaller business loans, which they had no place asking for them because it wasn't
Exactly.
for them. Especially fucking Joe Osteen. Don't get me started on religion on here because you know how I feel about religion, but I'll keep that to myself to a point. But let's say this: Osteen, mega mega pastor, mega church, has all this money, got millions of dollars in PPP money. Okay,
Yeah.
millions, and the excuse was, "Well, I had to pay my staff." You can't pay your staff, motherfucker. You're a millionaire.
Mm.
Come on
Well, I
now.
mean
Come on,
that
man.
that's the way it is with any free money. Whenever someone says like, "I'm giving away money," there's always going to be people like, "Well, how do I get that money?" And they're going to find a way to
Yeah,
get that money.
right, right, and that's true. And I guess it just shows the corruption. The problem is the program. It was kind of rushed out so fast. That was part of it. But I also think people knew what was going on. They just turned the other way. Anytime there's a government handout, or no, I say handout. I won't say handout. Anytime there's a government program that's supposed to help people, the people that need it get very little bit of it because the bureaucrats got to wet their beak first, and
Yes.
we get what's left. And that's been the case forever. But
Yeah.
now with the modern age of social media and public, public exposure and things like that, you can't hide that as much anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I always like that phrase. Government is and always will be the biggest threat to the independence.
You know what? I agree with that to a point, definitely for sure. I mean, I say this again. If someone's a billionaire, you cannot ethically and honestly become a billionaire. It's unless you inherit the money and you had nothing to do with getting it, you cannot ethically become a billionaire. To have that much kind of wealth and have that kind of money, you have to fuck somebody over to get there. You have to screw someone, cut somebody out, use the government to lobby for stuff that blocks out smaller companies, something like that. You have to have some kind of unfair advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. I mean, hell, we're looking at the possibility of a trillionaire soon. If Bezos and his wife wouldn't have got divorced, I think he'd be a trillionaire right now. I really do.
Yeah.
So it's just frustrating because everyday people like you and me who are trying to be good and trying to do the right thing, we can't get ahead, and it's not fair. It's not fair. And I don't know how we can, you know, if it can be fixed at this point.
Well, it can be. I don't think you can make it better or back the way it used to be. But the first thing that has to happen is, you have to reduce inflation.
Hmm.
And we're going to need like a couple years of negative inflation. And then the only thing you can hope to do is stabilize
Right.
and hold where it's at. Because right now, our cost of living here in the U.S. is so great that our salaries have become like a draw to the rest of the world because you have people in Latin America and South America who are like looking at us like they pay you that much to do that job.
Right. Right. And I remember when I was in college, I took a world geography class, and I found it very interesting. Now, it was my senior year. I was just trying to get my credit hours in to graduate because I had most all my classes already been done that I had to take for my finance degree. But I took this world geography class out of curiosity. So it's a freshman level class, so I can just just feel like I was interested in it. And every country broke down everything they had. And you look at the GDP, like where the average salary of people in these certain countries in American dollars, under $1,000 a year. A
Yeah.
year. You're like, holy shit. It's like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
And
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as you know, I was married to someone from the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like her family were like, "Well, you live in America, you make all this money," and that's what they see. They see the money,
Right.
and what they don't understand is the cost of
Yes.
living here.
Yeah.
They think like everything's so easy, like, but and they have no concept of like her family had no concept of like income taxes or
Mm-hmm.
property taxes or the fact that one meal can cost you an half an hour's work or an hour's work.
Yeah, it's like yeah, yes, and of course all the other tax that are out there, sales tax. You got your tax on like in North Carolina, for example, taxes everything. You get your house tax, your car taxes. They tax fucking everything here. There is no at least some places that don't have tolls. Like Florida has no sales tax, for example. I think,
Yeah,
but some places will.
California doesn't do property taxes on cars.
Right. Most states have something they just okay to compromise. We won't tax you on this, but we'll get you here. North Carolina bites at you everywhere. It's
Yes,
endless.
and,
Um,
and that's the thing. I mean, what do we need all these taxes for? I get okay, fuel taxes that's supposed to pay for the road. Okay, they say so. Why do we have all these like income taxes? It seems like a waste of money because only thing we really, oh God, here I am getting into politics.
it's fine. This is part of the conversation. It
Yeah,
really is.
we just give money away, and then you have like all these huge pension plans for government employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think in some states, half their budget or more goes to paying former state employees.
Right, and
That's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it really comes. It's government inefficiency is really what it is, or just outright corruption. And again, that's the main problem. And then you have the insurance companies and everything else. It's really a big scam. At the end of the day, Jason, is I think George Carlin said it best. They're in a club and you're not in it.
Yes,
That's really what it is, and it's frustrating. I don't want to be down and trodden. I want to believe in the quote unquote American dream. I want to believe that we can go to school or start a business and make something for ourselves and be somebody. I want to believe that. I do. But with me, I've been trying to do it for over 20 years. So I got out of college. Hasn't happened yet. I had a little bit
uh,
of taste, but even then, I'm working a second job just to enjoy extra things in life. You know,
yeah. I mean,
and when does it stop? I mean, it's the rat race. It really is the rat race.
but I mean, for all the people that complain about it, I know we complain about it, but it's really the best system there is.
You know what? It
It,
has its
it could be
problems.
better, but that's mostly because people keep expecting the government to solve their problems.
Right,
Government cannot solve any problem without creating another problem. And then
right.
when the government creates the new problem, they're going to be like, well, if we give us a little more money,
It's a
just a
vicious
little more,
cycle.
we'll fix that problem too. But
It's
they
kind
don't fix that problem. They just created another problem. So they got to create a whole nother solution to that problem. And then next thing you know, you have 30 government offices, and half those offices are trying to fix the problems created by the other offices.
right. It's kind of like medication, right? You
Yeah.
take a medicine. It's supposed to fix something, but it causes these side effects. So you got to take something to fix that side effect, and that causes a side effect.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that. It's a perfect analogy for a healthcare system. But again, it's everything to struggle. You get health insurance, don't want to pay for everything. You still got to pay out of pocket for that. You get any kind of insurance is probably in my opinion, the second biggest scam in human history is insurance. Um, and then you have to you have to pay for all that, and still doesn't pay for everything that you want to pay for. Um, and then you got everyday expenses like you're doing well, then that you get laid off, or say
Yeah.
you get sick, you can't work, or something like you. In your case, something in your house breaks. Um,
Yes.
right, and that's just the financial part of everyday stuff, and of course you got to deal with the emotional and general mental health that people have to go through
Yes.
every day. And I know we both have had our mental health struggles. Uh,
Yes.
I've had issues with anxiety and depression, and back in October, I actually had to be self committed into a hospital for mental health because I was having some really bad thoughts about hurting myself. I've dealt with that depression a big chunk of my life, but and I've always been more susceptible to it because I got a family history of it. But
Yeah.
it just hit me really hard when things got really tough. I've been working and working every day trying to get ahead, and I'm not trying to say, "Oh, what was Dave? Don't feel sorry." I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being honest here. The fact of the matter is, my car got repossessed, and my car got repossessed. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was already depressed and stressed as it was, and I already felt inadequate as it was. And then I lose my car. It's like, oh hell, now I don't have my car anymore. How am I going to get to work? And it put me over the edge, and I
Hmm.
had to be in the house for 5 days. And then I eventually got on medication. I got this job I'm working now, so mentally I'm a lot better. The struggle, my financial problems are definitely still there. I'm still having the financial problems, but the mental health is an issue, and you're dealing with all this stuff, and you're trying to keep good mental health when they keep throwing shit at you.
Hmm.
It's fucked up, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I, I don't know. I mean, I have my issues with depression and everything, but I try to get more into psychology, and I'm trying to remember the author who said, if you think things could be better, you're only going to be focusing on what could be better.
That's
When if you
true.
focus on being grateful for what you have,
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point, Jason. Because I know right now we've been bitching and ranting, and it's been kind of like doom and gloom. But that's one thing that does get us to everyday struggles, right? Perspective.
yeah,
It could always be worse. Believe it or not, it could
exactly.
always be worse. Like working the public like I do at a travel stop, I see people that are homeless that don't have anywhere to go, that they don't know where they're going to sleep, they can't take a shower, they don't have access to a place, and they don't have any family, they've lost loved ones, they've been through a lot of stuff, and you think, God, oh woe is me, I'm having this, I can't get that. You see that, so well, damn, I'm an asshole, right?
Yeah,
you know and so that's an important point, Jason, is just try to be thankful for what you got. And for
yeah,
me personally, I just try to live one day at a time, because
yeah.
I caught myself trying to get ahead and plan stuff, and I realized you can't do that. You'll drive yourself nuts doing that. You can't plan your life as much as you want to plan your life. You can't plan your life. You
But
know,
happiness is wanting what you have.
right,
You-
right.
I just that just popped into my head. That quote: "Happiness is wanting what you have."
Okay, interesting. Right. Yeah. Again, and I am thankful for what I have. I'm not trying to be ungrateful, but at the same time, you have to understand. It's like, I mean, is it like just to pose a devil's advocate question here? Is it a sign of weakness to like be grateful for what you have, and when in your mind you don't really have jack shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just for the sake of argument here, right? You should be
Yeah.
thankful and be thankful. It's like, are you giving up, right? If you do that, because the person me, I'm very prideful and very ambitious in a lot of ways, and
Yeah.
I get frustrated that I shouldn't be living here, not necessarily money wise, just the way I want to live,
Yeah.
and I get frustrated. It's like, by being grateful, are you selling? Are you giving up? And are you a failure for giving up? And that's something that I deal with a lot. I have a lot of insecurities about failure, not being a good dad, not being smart enough, not being a good enough person. I deal with those struggles all the time. You know,
I get you. I have a lot of those. Well, except the dad part. I mean,
yeah. Jason is fatherless. That might be better for society. I'm kidding.
oh, well, I mean, so I mean, like, yeah, I'd love to have kids. As the older I get, it's like the less likely that's going to happen. But
Yeah. Hey, you gotta keep in
um,
mind, as a male, you can still nut and make something happen.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You get the right woman, you might be able to make it happen. Or you meet someone, maybe they can become like your kids.
Yeah. But it's all about like finding something you enjoy doing, even even if it's just a hobby. I mean,
Yeah.
like me, I found like I really like painting those little figures.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
So like one every time I get paid every 2 weeks. So every time I get paid, that's like as soon as that money hits my bank account, I'm like, well, that's another $50 in little figurines and paint.
Right. That's yeah, it supports your hobby.
And so I don't really think about anything else right now other than, well, I will spend the entire time, you know, before I get paid just thinking about, which ones do I want to get this week?
Yeah. There you go.
And I will spend like and I will be scouring like planning ahead,
Yeah. Right.
just wrapping my head around what do I want? What would make me happy to try this week? And I will search Etsy, Amazon, Timu,
Oh yeah.
whatever what all these websites to find which figures I want so I can get the most for my $50
Yep.
this 2 week cycle.
Yep. There you go. And you and that Timu, man, I get your little shares all the time, so you can get your Timu gifts. I see the Timu stuff you try to get. But I also know you're still doing that little side business, right?
Yes, yes. And it don't I'm not getting much from that. I get like $35 a month for doing that, but
Hmm.
again, that supports my habit.
Well, if it helps you for at least one pay period go towards your paints and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I
And you
don't
know
really
what?
count it towards that, but yeah, it,
Hmm.
it would. And you got some people that like instead of embracing like a hobby or something like that, they put their money towards getting high or getting drunk
Hmm.
or smoking cigarettes. And
Right.
those are hobbies I don't understand.
Well, it's like they're investing money into vices. They're trying to cope with life and with physical, not well physical things, whether it be like buying stuff
Yeah,
or like just trying to numb the pain, whether it
yeah.
be like some kind of substance abuse
Well,
and
yeah,
or
and
or
again, it
addiction.
it doesn't make sense to me because you're spending money on an action that's going to cost you money in the long run. Because
Yeah,
my mother, she smoked all the time, and we could never get her to quit, and it
yeah,
ended up, eventually causing the health problems that led to her dying.
yeah.
And so it's like, so you're spending, and I smoked as a teenager.
Hmm.
I quit as soon as I turned 18 because it wasn't fun anymore,
It wasn't
and
cool.
cigarettes were like 250 a pack.
Oh, it's funny you say that. I had an old friend of mine in high school. He started smoking when he was like 12 or 13 years old. And when he got his car, he got like a green Camaro. And when he got that car, he realized he couldn't afford to play with his car. He quit smoking just like that. It
Yeah,
was overnight. Like I went to hang out and said, dude, man, you know, man, I quit. I said, what? Yeah, I quit, man. I couldn't afford it in the car. I quit. So he chose the car over smoking. That's one example. He
yeah,
chose a passion that he loved, something that he liked over a bad health habit.
exactly. And like I said, you're paying, and now what? Cigarettes are like $8 a pack
Oh
here in
shit!
North Carolina.
If you're fucking lucky, dude. Some of them are like $12 a pack. Depends on which one you
E-
get.
exactly. So you're spending $12 a pack for and smoking. Some people smoke a pack a day.
Oh god, more than that. I mean, there's, I mean, there. I think where I'm at, the cheapest we have, and they're the off-brand that you never heard of in your entire life. Stuff called Eagles and Montegos, L and M or LD. I mean, off-brand cheap cigarettes because they're like $4 or $5 a pack, which is good now. You
Yeah,
know, if you imagine, I used to work at a gas. You know, I worked at a gas station for years now, on and off. And I remember my 20s. I worked at one through college, you know, part time in summers and stuff. And I saw the same people come in every day. They would come in and get a pack of cigarettes and a 12 pack of beer every day. Now, to be fair, hey, it's your body. You want to smoke, you want to drink. That's your business, right?
yeah,
That's not my place to tell you how to live your life. But at the same time, and this is like the mid 2000s, right? So they're spending like $15 a day just on beer and cigarettes. Now they'll probably be like that same thing, be like $30 a day.
yeah.
That's $210 a week. That's $840 most months. And over a year, you're talking about $10,000 almost. Just
And then
in
when you get
shit you
older,
don't
all of a
need.
sudden you're gonna have health problems related to these.
Right. And again, back to family, I've known relatives who have died of, my dad died of small cell lung cancer, big part because of smoking. He smoked most of his life. He quit for a few years, and my youngest sibling was born because they were premature, and when they were born, they could fit in the size of my hand. That's how small they were, a pound, 12.5 ounces, you know, and they weren't fully developed, and the lungs weren't there, so they quit for a while. And I think my stepmom's been quit for a long time now, but you know, it's just you see what it does, and I know we know tobacco obviously is a big cause of cancer. We know
Yeah,
that, and the additives don't help either. So all that stuff comes into play. But so yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen alcoholism. My dad was an alcoholic when I was younger. It affected his liver when he was older, and he pretty much quit drinking for the most part by the time I was a kid. You know, and I never met my grandpas. They died because of drinking, which is why I don't drink now. I got such a bad family history of it. I just stay away from it. Now you can drink around me, and I find I don't got a problem with it. I can drink a beer every once in a while at a ball game or something. I'm cool, but I never got that problem. But it's something I'm sensitive about, so I'm very careful when I do. I pick my
yeah,
spots. I may drink less than twice a year. It's very rare that I drink.
yeah. Like I will drink sociably.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if I'm like you said, like if I go with you to a ball game, yeah, get a beer and a hot dog.
Oh, I would almost argue it's un-American not to do that.
Yeah,
If you don't go get a beer and a hot dog at the game, you're just not being a good American at that point. That's my joke I always say. But
but again, I can't see myself spending enough money like some people do to get drunk at these ball games because it's what was it the last time we went to a ball game in DC? The beers were like $9.
oh, this was like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I think I went there. I remember if I remember correctly, the one time we went, I got a hot dog, a pretzel, and a beer. And I'll grant you, it was one of those I think 18-ounce little plastic those aluminum bottle beers they have specialty at stadiums.
yeah,
But I think I spent $23,
yeah,
and that's it. That's all I got. I got really nothing. That's all. And I was on a paper thin budget anyway, going on this trip, right? Because I always was, you
yeah.
know. But I mean, good lord, $23. I got nothing.
And you get at the Durham Bulls game, a beer was $5.
Which actually is not that bad considering, you know,
Yeah,
and that because it's AAA. Yeah, I know around here, like if you go to even like locally, there's a minor league ballpark, the low A White Sox team in Kannapolis. Concessions can add up there. I took my daughter to a game a couple years ago. I ended up spending like $50 in that place.
Yeah,
And I didn't really get that much. I think we got like, hot dog and a side, and I got a beer, and she got like a Dippin' Dots. We got really didn't get that much, and we spent like 50. But like, holy shit,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
bonkers.
but it's like your vices add up. So I mean, so you got to choose. Let's see. One of my favorite song lines: "My pain is self chosen."
You're full of some good quotes today, Jason. I like it. You got some good quotes going on today. Um, but you're right,
Yeah,
though. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
the-
Those vices, those temporary feelings of feeling better down the run affect you, and it could affect you mentally as well.
yeah, and
It's much worse
and
than you realize.
financially because again, you're spending $12 a day on cigarettes. That's going to end up costing you health care. That's going to cost you, all your life savings,
Right, right. Yeah, and
and and probably maybe even leave your loved ones in debt after you're gone.
exactly. And the way things are, I mean, who knows when and if we're going to retire? Who knows? Like
Mhm.
savings. What's life savings? What's that? An interesting thing I heard about. I was heading to Winston Salem on Sunday, and I had the guy who took me there. He said something about the average stat that like the parents give their kids, millennials, like our age. Well, I think I'm older millennial, but around our age range, parents are giving millennials $1,000 a month just to help them survive. And some parents are going back to work because well their family can't make it on the retirement. So this is not sustainable, Jason. This is
No,
not
it's not.
sustainable. Something's got to give here, and I don't have all the answers, but stuff like this is a common conversation with a lot of people, and it bothers us all the time.
Yes.
And again, I don't have the answers, but I guess all we can do, whether it be financial, mental, whatever you're going through personally, I mean, the idea of what you said, there's some coping mechanisms like we discussed. Find a hobby. You have
Exactly.
you have your D&D and you have your little paintings, your sculpture that you paint. For me, it's my pursuits of acting and being and wanting to follow that. And even if I don't get cast for anything, to me, the pursuit of it is actually very fulfilling
Yeah.
because the doing all this, I like, you've helped me with a bunch of self tapes, which I'm very grateful for. You helped me with a bunch of self tapes, and just going through the experience of doing that self tape is just it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
a really great experience, and just to go through that and have that distraction, so to speak. And
Yeah.
God, when you land something, oh, it is so amazing when you actually land something.
Yeah.
It feels really great. Like I have an audition tomorrow night. I got to go in person too, and I got to pay to get there, and I got to pay to get back, and I got plans on Friday, and I'm kind of concerned about how I'm going to get there. But you know what? I'm going to go there, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to make the most of it, and
Exactly.
hope it comes to something great. And I know I have money coming in from other sources. I just haven't got it yet. But so, and that's really all we can do. Like I do this podcast.
Yeah.
We came up with this podcast because of it's something to do. It's something to be productive. Like we do the
Yeah.
National Baseball Review from time to time. We do this,
Exactly.
and I think it gives us something to look forward to. You know,
And stuff like this doesn't cost any money per
no,
se,
no,
and it is a coping mechanism,
yeah, yeah. I
and
think
it's much better than drugs and alcohol.
oh, much better. I think that for Podbean, I think I set up like $17 a month or something like that, whatever. Just but it's not that much, and and if it's unlimited, we can upload as much as we want. There's no storage unit, and we're streaming on Streamyard. I'm being cheap. For those on YouTube, you can see the little Streamyard logo on the screen where Jason is right now, and you have to pay for that to go away. I'm not paying 40 some bucks a month for that to go away. Not right now. Now, if we get big enough, yeah, I'll pay it, sure. But I'm not paying that right now. you know,
Yeah.
so sorry, deal with it. But end of the day, I mean, this is very inexpensive. A YouTube channel is free.
Exactly.
Submitting a self tape for a short film is free. That costs you
Exactly.
nothing.
And I love helping you with those auditions.
Yeah, I
It
appreciate it. I
gives me a
really
chance
do.
to be stupid.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the ones that people see aren't the outtakes that we do. Because if I was to submit that, I wouldn't get. They say, well, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But
I like catching you off guard doing voices.
yeah, to try to see if I'm see it's to test me, right? Yeah, that's it's good. I mean, for those who are listening out there watching YouTube, whatever, if you comment, what do you do to cope with life? What are your hobbies? Do you play golf? Do you go to the gym? Do you do you have a support system? Do you call your friends and family? How do you cope with stuff? That. Do you see a therapist? And I have seen a therapist in the past, and there's no shame in seeing a therapist. There used to be a stigma about it, and that's long gone at this point. I would hope for most people.
Yeah.
And there's something to that. I think there is a lot to say about that.
Well, you talking about going to see a therapist? I know you're not the religious type, but once upon a time, your therapist was your pastor.
Well, for some people, and if you are a faith, that's fine. If you're a person of faith and going to church and praying gives you purpose, that's your choice. You have a right to do that. Some people go to religion or faith in order to, you know, cope with stuff, and that's fine. Just I say with anything, don't go extreme with anything, but I think that can be better. That gets a lot of people through the day. So I mean, everyone's different. Everybody has their own way. The way I do something may not fit for you. You know, some people I tell people about acting like I could never do that. I get so nervous. I can never act like that. Okay, fine. But what could you do? You like to run? Go run. Great. So
Yeah.
there's always something, and there's always a healthy way to go about it,
Yeah.
mentally, physically, than resorting to other options.
Yeah. Well, and also, when you find something you enjoy doing, social media has made it so easy to be able to find other people
Yes.
who enjoy doing those same things
Mm-hmm.
that, you could just, you know, you may not be able to be in the same location they're in,
Mm-hmm.
but you could like me, I'll watch a video on how somebody else, paints something and I'll be like, oh, that's a cool technique. Let me try that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like you learn from other people. You could talk to other people and find other people who share your love of things and, you know, make a friend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a guy that I started talking to years ago because he reached out wanting people for YouTube collaborations. His name is Dan. He may be a guest on the podcast from time to time, depends what happens. But we still talk today, and that was several years ago. And we still talk and keep in touch today. He's in Arizona. We've never met in person, but
Mm-hmm.
I know he's married. I know he's got kids. We're friendly, and it's been several years. And you can keep in touch with people that you otherwise probably wouldn't get to see that much. It's
Exactly.
amazing. It's amazing. Like I remember when I graduated high school, we were told that look in front of you, look behind you, and look to each side of you. Those are the amount of people that you will see for the rest of your life. And you think that's nuts because we live in a small town, but sure enough, I hardly ever talked to anybody I know from high school. And most of us are still in the same general area. It's just life happens. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you get married, you have kids, some people get in trouble, whatever. Life happens, you go away, you move, and that's the truth. So it's it's a great way to connect with people. Some to reconnect, others you just don't that you never would have met at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. And there's countless groups. You go on Facebook, there are so many. I know Facebook's like boomer book for older people, whatever, and I get that, but there's so many groups on Facebook, whether it be like hiking groups, painting groups, common religion, common common like if you're some political activism, whatever. There's groups you can
Exactly.
join that match your taste. Or
No
if you're
matter how
single,
weird it is.
that is very true. No matter how weird it is, you are right about that. There's a group for everybody. Even like if you're single, you want to get out there and date. Hey, there's dating groups now. Watch out for bots and shit. There's a lot of bots out there and fake scams. Granted, you be careful of that. But there are real people out there. I have met my wife, my ex-wife, and my ex-girlfriend. I met them both online.
Hmm.
That's how I met both of them. So
And don't be afraid to post what makes you happy on your profile on Facebook, because once you start posting about something you like on Facebook, it's going to redirect you to other people who like that same stuff.
that is very true. The algorithm is, it's spying on us, but this way we can turn on its head and get some use out of it. Damn it, get some use out of those bastards at Facebook for selling our information away. But yeah,
Oh, man, Zuckerberg's going to be a billionaire. At least make him work for you.
I know we get a little something back from it, right? But yeah, I mean, life is hard, and we get that. Even people that and we've been bashing the rich to a point. I'm not trying to bash our rich people necessarily. I'm not trying to be that way. But even people we know who have money or are comfortable, they have their struggles too. You know,
Yeah.
they have their problems too. They deal with stuff like last recently, for example. If you follow celebrity news, I mean, like you know who not David, Robert Carradine was, right?
Yes.
He was a guy from Revenge of the Nerds, and he was in I think a sitcom, Lizzie McGuire or something from Disney years ago. 71. He had bipolar disorder. He killed himself, right? He killed himself, and people wouldn't have known that. But he was an actor, pretty well known. Carradine family was a big family. His brother was David Carradine, who was part of Kung Fu and Kill Bill and all that.
Yeah, he
So
had his issues too.
yeah, we all know about that. Yeah, it's like you never know with people, and he killed himself because bipolar disorder. The daughter of Martin Short, who's like literally almost my age, killed herself. And it's also the same with like social media. I've seen like in the last year, there was this trend with a bunch of younger 20 something social media stars taking their own lives.
Yeah.
It's like, again, and it's very important to realize, you're a social media star. You're getting all this money, you're getting all these followers and endorsements, and you're getting all this attention and recognition, but you're still unhappy.
Yeah.
So it tells you there's something deeper down
Yeah.
that's not resolved there.
What did I say earlier? Happiness is wanting what you have.
Yeah.
If you keep wanting more and more and more, you're
You'll never.
never going to be happy. You're
Right.
always going to be, you know, expecting to have more. And when you don't get more, you're going to feel unfulfilled.
Exactly. Exactly. And after a certain point, I mean, I dealt with the idea of trying to. I go to school. I get a job. Then I buy a house. I can do this and do that. I had to stop thinking that way. I was driving myself insane.
Yeah.
I stopped thinking that way, and now I changed my focus towards doing things that make me happy. And yes, I
Yeah.
had my struggle financial, but I also realized that if I would have stayed at that job I was at, I would have probably gotten laid off eventually because the way the industry's been the last few years of banking. I'll probably got laid off eventually, and I've been at the same point eventually anyway. And I've been having to work a job that I freaking hated, and I've still been
Yeah.
miserable. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
So I'd
And-
rather be struggling with the freedom to pursue things I want to do within reason than
Exactly.
and then have to work this job. I think Jim Carrey said it best. Like Jim Carrey, when he was trying to get into the show business, and I said, oh, well, weird, the show business, show business, that his dad was an accountant his entire life. And his dad put it safe his entire life. And he saw his dad do the right thing, work hard, support a family, and then they laid him off just like that. And he saw how miserable his dad was. And he said, my dad went through all that and still got let go and still was unfulfilled. I might as well do what I want and be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to say about that. And I understand there's a balance, and people are going to disagree with that, but end of the day, you have to find a way to make it through. So
Yeah. And celebrate your victories. No matter how small it
Yes.
is. I woke up this morning. Yay!
Yeah. I'm not sick. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I paid my rent today, or I got my bills paid this month.
Exactly. Oh, I got. Oh, look, my tax refund came back. Awesome,
Yeah.
right? You know. And or
Be thankful for the things you have and the things that you've gotten done, and don't sweat it. I mean, it's going to be hard. It gets hard. You just have to be optimistic.
And another aspect of this is the idea of control. I think people get frustrated with life because they want to control things. They want to control what happens, and you can't control it.
No.
You can't. And people, want the power to control their life, which realize you really can't. You can only do what you can do. The only thing you can control is the choices you make.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can control. And sometimes you make good ones, sometimes you make bad ones. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you have to live with those choices. But you can't control that. You can choose your outlook. And those are things you can control. And those are things that you can try to work on. And other than that, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Like my brother in law, I don't want to say too much about my family's struggles, but my sister and brother in law, they've had some hardships the last few years with her health and whatnot and stuff like that. And I won't say more than that, but he is working all the time, overtime whenever he can, and his struggles are still there. Things keep happening in their lives, but it's amazing how he keeps it together. It blows me away. It's like he says, I can only control this and this. Outside of that, there's nothing I can do. Why bother with it?
Yep.
And I'm trying to embrace that mentality, Jason. I'm trying to embrace that. I really am. And most days I do okay. You know, other
Uh,
days, not so much. But you know,
I just had another quote pop into my head, and it goes back to way back in the 90s.
you're the quote master today, Jason.
Yeah. I, I was reading and I actually got this quote from a comic book.
Oh yeah,
We ask the stars why, we question our lot. The heavens open wide and reply, why not?
just because right, right. That's very funny. That's good. I like that.
So I mean, it's like, you sit there, you're so worried, why is this happening to you? And it's like, it's going to happen to somebody.
And it probably is happening to somebody as we speak.
Yeah.
So you know,
And no matter how bad you think your day's going, if you're still alive, it's not got to as bad as it could be.
to add to quotes, any day above ground's a good day.
What's that?
I've heard in the movie say any day above ground's a good day.
Yes.
I've heard that quote a lot.
What does that mean about miners, though?
What?
Coal miners.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So they probably would agree. It's like God, I can't breathe. Get me out of here. You know. Um, but yeah, like I said, I mean, just to bring things up here, we're pushing about an hour, so we like to keep about an hour here on the podcast. But yeah, I mean, we have struggles. It gets hard. We get down on ourselves, but you know what? There's ways to get through it. There's ways to cope, and you can only control what you can. And I think when you try to do that, I think having this conversation was good for me.
Yeah.
Just being on here.
We should probably do a conversation about etymology, or what is it? The study of words and their meanings.
Ooh, interesting. That could be a future
Because
episode.
I was just thinking about that when I said, what about minors? And then it's like, that could mean quite a few things.
That's why I said what. I'm like, what do you mean by minors? Do you mean like I was thinking minors as in like underage kids? Like, what are you talking about? Of course, kids shouldn't be in the ground. What are you talking about? Goodness sake, Jason, I got dark. I'm thinking, oh, coal miner. Okay, that makes sense now. That makes sense. I get that.
Yeah. What was that clip? This girl's like, why can't we collect minors? And she was talking about like the study, like the college, like a college
Right,
minor.
right. Gotcha. Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
wait. Collect minors.
or play that with a minor. What? The notes. Oh, right. Sorry. The joys of the English language, where one word can mean six things.
Yeah.
And some people get messed. What could they learn English? It's not easy to learn, buddy.
And the same, and it can be spelled, sound the exact same and be spelled three different ways.
There, and there. All spelled differently. All have different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Um, but anything else you want to add, Jason, before we wrap it up?
No.
All right.
Just
Well,
be happy with what you have.
yeah, yeah.
Do find something you love. Do it. Even if you're not good at it, just do it.
Hell, most people play golf and they suck at it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an expensive hobby, but
Yeah.
that
Some
that
people sing. They can't sing. I can't sing.
no, I'm terrible myself. But I catch myself at work listening to like 80s music and singing and stuff. And people, and one guy was giving me a hard time saying, "Don't
Mhm.
quit your day job." I said, "Well, do I heckle you at work?" I picked back at him. He thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
do I
Who
heckle you
sings
at work,
that?
sir?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who sings that song? Yeah.
yeah,
Let's keep
right.
it that way.
Yeah, let them sing it. I've done that to people, and people have done it to me, so it works both ways. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening to the What Are They Talking About podcast with me, David Knight, and co-host Jason Renfro. If you like what you hear, subscribe on YouTube. If you follow on podcasts, follow on Podbean, and be a part of the conversations. We'll be doing these on a weekly basis with maybe other guests hopping on as well. So make sure you're a part of it and comment, share, like anything you think may be useful or anything you may want to hear about. We're open to suggestions. So everyone out there, have a good week, and we'll see you next time.